let's bring our good friends to the stage faster than normal tonight. As I got nothing, but I want to talk to them about brain pudding and morality and choices and how you know the difference between good and bad. Because we have a quiet, intimate, awesome audience, and we're gonna get to we're gonna make everyone jealous. Next episode.
We're embarking to the moon tonight.
Well, psychologically.
Yes. Well, I mean,
I want everybody who comes next week, everyone who listens, to go, shit, fuck, are you kidding me? For Breaking Bad, I missed this?
Yeah. What the people listening don't know is that you've had your shirt off the entire time.
Yeah. All right, Kumail Nanjiani, can you come out here?
Hello. Nice. I like that.
Kumail's wearing a T-shirt that has is this a new thing, the kind of watermark logo?
Oh, does it look watermark? It's just a free T-shirt I got at this place. It says The Conjuring on it.
Do you think that's typical to that film, that it's sort of faded into the thread of the shirt, or is that a new thing?
I think the movie... Have you seen the movie?
No.
It sort of captures the vibe of the movie.
Schraub talked about it last week.
Did you like it?
I don't think so. I can't remember.
You liked it? I have a theory on morality. Okay. I don't know. It's not a novel. But I think what makes us human is complexity of language and society. And I think morality is just what you need to live in a society. That's where it comes from. And how I think it ties into science is that the brains that are made to sort of be able to differentiate right and wrong, i.e. what works in a society and what doesn't, are the ones evolutionarily that'll stick around. So for instance, if you have a brain that makes you fuck kids, you're not going to have any more kids because kids can't have kids, so you'll go away. So I think that's...
Wait. Kids can't have kids?
Like, like a 3-year-old, I don't think can have a kid. And I don't think pedophiles, draw the line at like 14, because then I think that's when we kind of take over, Not that we're excited about...
We who?
Listen, come on, bro. You see...
Everybody!
Don't bro me. Don't bro me on 14.
Listen, you've seen some 16-year-olds where you're like, all right...
You said 14 first, by the way.
I was trying to make a point. Well, with the hormones in milk these days, and I don't know.
See, but look how fun it is to frolic in that surf, and we all go, and then there's the 6-foot drop off that we all go, don't go out there.
Well, but I really don't think it's that if all of us want to do it and we know not to. I think it's a messed up, broken brain that wants to do it, because evolutionarily and scientifically, it doesn't make sense to be attracted to a child. It's not what leads to the survival of our species. So when he got that thing cut out of his brain, it fucked him up. By the way, we should all be lucky that we hit the lottery of not being attracted to kids. Like, that could have been something that could have happened to us.
But this is what I'm talking about. Yeah. Why do we act like they are like... And first I'm going to say, this is a daisy chain of weird logic that I want to lead probably to nowhere, because greater men than me have tried to think about this. But the first link in the daisy chain is to go, why do we act like a guy who wants to fuck a 3-year-old is the same as a Nazi war criminal that we're trying to hunt down and go, no, you fucked up, you thought you were back on the right horse, you made a choice.
Because they did make a choice to fuck a kid. You can want to fuck a kid.
No. Okay, let's wipe that off the magnet board. The obvious, like actually hurting a kid, affecting their future.
It goes against
which
empathy.
then vampirically turns them, probably, as we've seen, into another abuser of children.
Yes.
That's the problem. That's 90% of the problem. But the impulse itself, the hard drive.
Yeah.
The guy who wants to look at a calendar where January is a 3-year-old kid laying on a fur rug in front of a fireplace.
All right.
Okay, so
I feel like the printer would have a couple questions, but I don't know if you can mass produce that. Hey, is my calendar ready?
That's kind of a DIY kind of thing.
Yeah, collage, scissors.
Yeah. The impulse, the predilection, like why? I know the answer, I think, is because it's easy. because we all as Americans we lack
humans
we lack outlets for outrage. We think we're encouraged to be fucking loud. We're encouraged to. We're not. Emily Post did not write the rules to American society. Like we are not.
No, it's about. It's sort of very ethnocentric. It's just knowing what's happening here.
And what's happening here has been happening here for the last 8 years.
Right.
Like you, if you go back further than 8 years now, this is like Alexis de Tocqueville on Overdrive. What came before us, we have no respect for it. We spit on it. We don't care. Like if you like John Ritter, you thought he was funny, go fuck yourself. Like we've burrowed into ourselves. Like originally us doing that took over the planet.
Yeah.
We said fuck culture, fuck bloodlines, fuck heredity, fuck
learning,
fuck everything but what's going on right here, right now. And it was a glorious, Thomas Edison took that ball and ran with it.
But this is sort of a weird thing. But right after September 11th, 2001, I can't believe I have to specify that. But I was here and I had some, I sort of, podcast listeners, I'm a brown-skinned man. I had people yell stuff at me, and a lot of times, and this is just what happened. I'm not putting any judgment on any sort of higher point, except that there were a lot of black people who said really bad stuff to me, and I'm like, you should understand what discrimination feels like because you go through it every day. Why can you not put yourself in my shoes and understand that it's the same thing that's happening? It's because we just wanna I don't know what it is.
Well, it's like there's the kick the dog theory that like any pain that's put on you if you get yelled at by your boss, you yell at the person beneath him, and he yells at his wife, and she yells at the son kicks the dog can't.
Right now, we're the dog.
Yeah. Do you think that when if a black person exalts in doing that to you, is that just kind of like the joy of having someone
it's
to
reciprocation.
Do that to?
It's reciprocation.
Without empathy.
Hey,
patriotic reciprocation.
Paying it forward.
I think that is the history of what white racists are fond of evoking turn of the century kind of remember what the Irish did and the Jewish had to do, when they hear that reverse racism, often is the idea is, all kinds of people had it bad over here in this melting pot. What they're sort of lifting up and celebrating is actually part of the problem, which is that shit rolls downhill.
Yeah.
That you don't end up when you've been at the end of a stick. You typically do not end up grabbing the stick out of the hand that's holding it and beating the face of the person that held it. You typically end up, kind of coming into your own. I got a little star in my chest now. I remember when I was just getting hit. Now I'm hitting people.
Yeah.
But it's not typically the guy that was hitting you.
But I think it's interesting to sort of think of morality as. If you think of it, you said something. Why do we judge people? Not judge, but why do we demonize people who are attracted to kids? Because it's against what makes a society work, because it gets fucked up kids, and these kids are not going to go to work.
But why don't we look at them the same way we look at someone who has a cold? Well, when someone has snot dripping down their face, which makes them disgusting. But because it's easier. But if someone walks...
you can't say it's easier to judge pedophiles and walk on stage. Like it's a big victory lap. No, but here's what okay.
Adam, it must be said to the listener, is standing 1/3 the way toward the stage right now. And what can only be described as an ominous pose.
I really... But I think...
Having sated himself on chips...
Because I think being attracted to kids is not a crime. Acting on it is.
Yes.
Yeah, and so I think those people, our brains are made. Oh, hey, Adam.
Hello, Adam.
For a different perspective.
I agree with Kumail's point, but I want to say, the reason that it's so easy to kick shit downhill.
I just want to say one thing. There's not a lot of people here, but don't say anything you'll regret. Don't reveal too much while you're defending.
No, it's because the reason that it's so fun to be like, well, I was being kicked around school. I used to be bullied. Now I'm the bully. Is because you see the part of yourself that's ready to be bullied again. You have to fill yourself up with the confidence that says, well, I'm not going to be victimized because I'm victimizing someone else that hard.
Sure, yeah.
It's the same reason we have a lot of closeted religious people, and they're the ones who are most going after homosexuals.
And I also, you
use your rage. It feels good to turn someone else into the scapegoat.
Because everyone has the same fiber in their being. We all have the same biological organism. We all have the same teeth in our mouth, and we all have the same like weird fucking aggressive bullshit like. But the weird thing is, all of us have to take shits. I've said this a million times before. Like I say certain things, and as people say, yeah, but people want to do this, especially about my thoughts about hierarchy. And I'm very, very like. I don't want to say resentful of this, but like when I talk about hierarchy, when I talk about anarchy versus hierarchy, and anarchy is simply, it's not lawlessness, it's not lack of order, it's simply the lack of hierarchy. And then I'll get, the Reddit sub-thread thing, people will chime in from Alaska, from their little dungeons,
Dan Harmon, if you don't like hierarchy, why do you have a Harmontown? How about that? Maybe
exactly. Why are you standing and talking on a stage? Isn't that the opposite of blah, 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 blah? Isn't hierarchy inherent to human beings? Isn't it instinctive? Shit taking is inherent to human beings.
Yeah.
Poop comes out of your butt so many times a day. We are not
it should be
walking
coming out
around in a
how many times on average?
It should be average of 1.
6 to 7.
Whoa.
Oh, okay.
You should go to
a lot of fiber.
We should talk about that first. If we're going to be on a spaceship to the moon together.
We were going to make it to the moon, but then Dan shit into our toilet.
Believe me, Harmontown 1, the capsule that goes first,
is just your shit.
90% bathroom.
Well, here's the thing. I think the ultimate sort of...
Because there's going to be a tub in there. I'm not going to shower while we're going to the moon.
I think human nature, which is what you're talking about, Goldberg, and you guys are talking about, which is sort of the urge to be better than someone, is so at odds with what a just, sustainable society is. And that's the problem, I think. If you think of the Nazi society, that's not a sustainable society. Taliban, that's not a sustainable society. Sustainable society has no hierarchy, like what you're saying.
I think there are people that would say that compassion, if there was a community that was compassionate and they cared for the elderly and they looked after the sick and they dealt as a group with criminal elements or maybe psychotic or psychopathic elements or antisocial elements. That would be great. That would be awesome. But nothing would get invented. Nothing would get done. I think people say that it's that drive, that competition, that capitalist competitiveness creates that our ability to grow and that drive to succeed, which I think may or may not be true. I think what societies lack, especially when capitalism is involved, is simple compassion, because it's not sexy. It's not. It doesn't get anybody anywhere. There's no reciprocity in that. There's no barter system in compassion. That should be the paying forward of if I do something right. And the golden rule, and I think all major religions say in some way or other, do unto others what you'd have them do unto you. And some say don't do unto others what you wouldn't want them to do to you. But I think the better way to say it is
imperative.
Actually go out of your way and do something that you're doing for no profit at all because it profits many.
The society, that's the most basic tenet that a society is built on.
Right.
Do unto others what you would have them do.
But you watch people, especially in big cities, especially in let's say you're a creative person, you're an artist, you're a writer, you're a painter, and you're driven to do something creative, and you're watching people that have this other thing called ambition, and they're not as talented as you, but they're really fucking good in a room, and they're really driven, and they have that are at a party. You should be talking to that person. No, I don't like talking to people. I like painting. Fuck you. Yeah. And I'll go home and paint for fucking free. And meanwhile, and you sit home and you watch the Emmys and you watch a bunch of people that some got lucky and were artists and happened. It all happened. And you're surrounded in a room full of people that I think are absolute con artists and bullies and dickheads.
I'm going to go the other direction on this one for you, Jeff, because it's not a binary. It's not a binary between capitalist and anarchist, because a lot of the things that we give credit for capitalism happened under protectionist governments. Happened because you couldn't buy grain from England for a lot of the 19th century, for the 20th century. You couldn't buy cars from Japan until suddenly you could, and then the 80s were filled with the idea, Japan's going to take over. But the part that really, it's not a duality between being ambitious and being creative. It's not a knob that you turn one way or the other. There's nothing wrong with getting paid what you're worth, and there's nothing wrong with learning to be the person who talks a little,
there's motivation and there's blind ambition. There's people that are motivated simply by the need to rise up a ladder, and that's society. That's Parisian culture and the Restoration, of just simply using people to get your ends out of things.
But everybody,
it's why Rome fell.
But we've slid into all these are choices. We're all choosing the words that we're going to say. We're all forming policy. We're going to talk politics. We're going to talk philosophy. We're going to talk about the people that came before us, the mistakes that they've made, the problem with the way things are, the true motivation of the people around us, and all these things. But at the core, at a deeper core of that, we don't even have our shit together enough to look at a guy who hit his head so hard that he wants to fuck a 3-year-old and go, "Are you all right?" We want to arrest that person. That's the problem. We can't endure the equivalent of a head cold in terms of personality. We can't allow anyone to have a bad day.
Well, then, okay, what do you propose we do with that person?
I don't know. I propose that we stop proposing, because we are more jellyfish. We are 90% jellyfish. We share more DNA with a watermelon than we do with whatever we haven't discovered yet. We are aqueous characters. We are things that flow. We just finished eating each other's faces and genitals off under a tree, fighting for shade. We have risen.
It was
so
a really
much.
great tree. It was a great tree.
I'm talking about the 50s.
That was the last Harmontown at the
Ed Sullivan Theater.
The 1950s were a rough time for all of us, Dan.
The
idea
don't
there's
go
a threshold that we have to
with
cross.
anyone else but
the idea of being reminded of our frailty. When you see somebody who's been bonked in the head, when you see somebody who's homeless, when you see somebody who's having a bad week or having a bad time, being reminded of our frailty is terrifying.
How about being reminded of the fact that the conscious personality, the person that you interact with in line at a football stadium, when you engage in the wonderful, beautiful act of not ripping another primate's face off while you're waiting in line for a beer, when we drive to and from work every day, like the entire planet, all of these lights that you see as you fly in these aircraft that don't go down over these cities where there aren't explosions happening because it's not World War Z yet. Be reminded of the fact that this outward face that creates all that compatibility, clearly by the fact that America's prison population is rising and rising and rising. We obviously are capable of functioning in society with a certain amount, repressing a certain amount of the animal within. We are now at a point where we need to grow up enough to accept the animal within. The internet is creating glory holes in the wall between everything that you're allowed to say in line at the bank and everything that you actually think and feel. And they're spurting out, creating these little seismic these Yellowstone
seismic dents.
And our reaction is we're flocking to those and we're going, look at this unfortunate.
No, we're hitting them with hammers and then creating ones a little down the line that we can stick our dicks in.
We are obviously a gigantic
whack-a-mole.
This is eyes wide shut. We are fucked up people.